And would you like to say anything before we begin, writers, or just want to get right into it?
We're most nervous about this one, Randy, of all of them.
Yeah, be prepared for a lot of weird. That's all I have to say.
I think it's the weirdest.
Oh, this is the weird one. Oh, okay.
At least the weirdest.
Okay, that gives us plenty to talk about then.
I think we were watching a lot of Monty Python at this time or something. I'm not sure what the influence was.
This is the weird take one.
It's not, then it can't go wrong.
Okay. All right.
At least it's sure if it does go wrong, right?
All right, Don, whenever you're ready.
Right. Market with a B, written by Joel and Valerie Reeves. Exterior, bakery, night. A closed sign hangs in the window of a quaint little bakery. Sparkling bright lights decorate an electronic cupcake on the storefront. Interior, bakery. Roxanne Diller, late 50s, a pudgy woman with a painted-on smile, adds the final touches to a beautiful wedding cake. She glances at the clock. It reads 2 o'clock in the morning. She spins the cake aboard a cart to the basement door. She swings it open.
All right, girls, get ready for some more.
Squeals of delight, giggles, and cheering echo from the basement. Roxanne carries the cake down the stairs, closing the door behind her. Interior, bakery, the next day. Lindsay Rockwell, late 40s, a slender woman with the demeanor of a broken puppy dog, washes the dishes.
Just
Roxanne is mixing the frosting for a cake. Gary Diller, early 60s, balding with a tuft of white hair and beer belly, makes notes on a clipboard.
Roxy, I have some bad news. We're only had 3 people come to the store in the last 3 months. The rent is killing us.
Roxy glares at Gary. Gary looks away, embarrassed.
Stop with the bad news already. I've got everything under control. You've just got to pull your own weight and work harder.
Gary looks at her sourly.
What are you talking about? I worked half the night to help support this business.
Roxy suddenly becomes sweet.
Now, Gary, we all appreciate your work, but you know it's been my childhood dream to own a bakery. You wouldn't want me to give up my dreams.
Gary softens.
All right, Cupcake, whatever you say.
Good. I washed your clothes for you last night. They're in the basement closet.
She kisses him on the cheek. Gary goes to the basement door and sighs.
I'm getting too old for this.
Gary disappears down the stairs, the door closing behind him. Roxanne continues working on the wedding cake. She looks toward Lindsay, annoyed.
I wish you could do more than roll out cookies and wash dishes. I could really use some help getting this cake ready.
Lindsay turns to her, glaring.
I would do more in this bakery, but you said yourself you can't even trust me to crack eggs right.
Roxanne scoffs.
Whatever. I guess I'll show you how to dirty frost this cake. I guess I'll show you how to dirty frost this cake so I can get going on the next one.
Lindsay watches as Roxanne demonstrates. Roxanne hands Lindsay the spatula. Lindsay continues as Roxanne eyeballs her critically. She snatches the spatula from Lindsay.
Stop! You're not doing it right. Give me that. I'll do it myself.
Angry, Lindsay snatches the spatula back.
I can handle it. You just work on your cakes.
Roxanne reaches for the spatula, but knocks down Gary's clipboard, spilling papers across the floor. Roxanne throws up her hands, furious.
Now look what you made me do.
The phone rings.
I want you to pick all these up while I answer the phone.
Roxanne disappears into the other room. Lindsay begins picking up papers, annoyed. Most of the papers are financial reports about the bakery. One is not. Lindsay stares at a list, puzzled.
This is odd.
Insert list. The heading of the list reads, Tokyo Nightlife. Each column appears to be filled with a female name, anime character, cake flavor, and date. All the time slots appear to be between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. Lindsay stands up quickly as Roxanne enters the room. Curious, Lindsay takes the paper to Roxanne.
Hey, Roxanne, I found this paper on the floor and was wondering what a Tokyo nightlife was. It's nowhere on our menu, and I've never heard you talking about making one before.
Roxanne's face flashes from concern to rage. She tears the paper from Lindsay's hands.
What the hell do you think you're doing? These are private papers between my husband and I. Do you have no sense of decency?
Lindsay looks startled.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
Well, you should be.
Roxanne turns to leave the room.
And here you wonder why I only trust you to do the dishes. One more screw up like this and you're fired.
Depressed, Lindsay shuffles back over to the sink and continues doing dishes. As she washes, two elderly ladies enter the bakery giggling. Lindsay overhears conversation between Roxanne and the woman while she works. Interior, bakery front, moments later.
So what brings you lovely ladies to my neck of the woods?
The women glance at each other and giggle.
Would like
Woman number one bursts into laughter as woman number two finishes the sentence.
Tokyo nightlife, please.
Lindsay, curious, sets down a dish and pokes her head into the front room. Roxanne pulls out a pen and paper and takes notes.
Of course, darlings. Now, what type of cake would you like?
devil's food chocolate.
Woman number two interrupts.
With pink frosting around the edges, it needs pink frosting. It will be pointless without the pink frosting, so make sure it's there.
Devil's food chocolate with pink frosting around the edges? Now, for the most important question, what character would you ladies like?
Both women squeal in delight.
Sasuke Uchiha.
Naruto!
The women whisper to each other excitedly as Roxanne nods her head and writes down the information.
Sasuke from Naruto. Got it. My daughter used to watch Naruto. She said it was one of her favorite animes. Now we have a 2:30 a.m. time on Tuesday or 12 a.m. opening tonight. Which would you prefer?
Tonight? The nurses check up on us at 2, so it'd be easier for us to sneak out tonight.
So what's the price?
Roxanne calculates price on her phone, glancing between the phone and the list.
Well, I should warn you girls that the more famous the character, the higher the price. And you picked the very famous one. It'll be about $500 a piece.
Lindsay gasps and scurries back to the dishes.
$500 a piece? What could possibly be that expensive? And why so late at night? The bakery closes at 6.
The women exit the bakery, still giggling excitedly. Roxanne waves goodbye, clenching two $500 checks in her hands.
Bye, girls. Hope you come again soon.
Roxanne excitedly scurries to the basement door. She pulls it open, shouting.
Gary, honey muffin, I have some good news to share with you when you come up.
Not waiting for him to respond, Roxanne closes the door. She then turns to Lindsay, excited.
Hey, girlfriend, how about you take up the rest of the Hey, girlfriend, how about you take the rest of the afternoon off? You're probably dead tired after all the hard work.
Lindsay, shocked, tries her hands and begins to leave.
Okay, Roxanne. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Roxanne, beaming, waves goodbye as Lindsay leaves.
Bye, my amazing employee. See you tomorrow.
Roxanne locks the door, pulls the shades on windows, and turns sign in window to close. Interior car later that day. Lindsay is on her way home from work. Glancing down at herself, she notices she is still wearing an apron from the bakery. Lindsay gasps, horrified.
Oh no, I'm still wearing company property. Roxanne will fire me for sure if she finds out about this.
Calming down, Lindsay stares at the highway, thinking.
I know. I'll take it back tonight after everyone's left. That way no one will know what happened.
Relaxing, Lindsay continues her drive home. Exterior, bakery, night. Lindsay tiptoes up to the door of the bakery, apron in hand. Carefully, she unlocks the door with the key and sneaks inside. Just inside the bakery, a large sign taped to the basement door reads, Tokyo Nightlife, down here. Curious, Lindsay sets apron on table and heads downstairs. As door opens, a mixture of giggling, loud anime theme music, and Roxanne's amplified voice can be heard. Lindsay creeps downstairs, cautious. Interior, basement, moments later. The two elderly women from earlier are seated on the couch, dressed in old cosplay outfits. They wear fluffy cat Neko ears, weird spiky wigs, one pink, one blue. Tucked under one arm, one woman has a dakimakura with a picture of Sasuke on it. On table, a karaoke plays anime music. A handheld microphone is plugged into karaoke and held by Roxanne. In the center of the room is a large double scoop chocolate cake with pink frosting around the edges. In the back of the room is a large black curtain, movement suggesting there is someone behind it. Lindsay watches from the top of the stairs, perplexed.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, straight from the land of the rising sun, Sasuke Uchiwa.
Curtain falls, and Gary, dressed in a sleazy Sasuke cosplay, emerges as the women squeal in delight. He saunters to the cake, positions himself over it, squatting suggestively.
They can take my dignity, but they can't take our bakery.
Lindsay gags and covers her eyes. Gary's shorts drop past his knees. The music reaches a climax. As the women begin chanting enthusiastically from the couch.
Do it! Do it!
Do it! Do it! Do it!
Barnista!
Gary yells as the silhouette shows him plopping butt first onto the cake, frosting splattering in all directions. The women go wild, hugging each other and rubbing frosting on their faces. Lindsay, mortified, tiptoes back upstairs. Thinking a moment, Lindsay looks back at the door before looking down at the apron. Shaking, Lindsay reaches into her pocket, pulls out the key, and sets it on the table beside the apron.
I think I've had enough dessert.
She walks out. Fade out. The end.
All right, good job, guys. Yeah,
That was funny.
That was so funny.
Yeah. Shout out to the special ladies in the group. I believe it's Women's Month. So,
Oh.
Oh, thank you.
no problem.
Was that what inspired the script? Was it International Women's
No,
Day?
I just actually it was good timing. Yeah.
What, me and Ron don't get any
I
credit?
appreciate everybody, but special shout out to the women. Let's talk about the script, guys.
I like his explanation for the script. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people would love this. I think a lot of people would love this.
That's literally all I have to say. Interesting.
I really I thought
One
it was
word.
going in the direction of like drugs, but it's really
Right.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all this clandestine stuff going on.
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah. Yeah.
So Bill, is this the first kind of a short on it, or is it like a continuation of something?
It feels like a standalone, just based on how it's written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like a one shot, you know?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This.
You guys wrote it, it felt like a one-off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It was actually written for a screenwriting contest they were doing in the Traverse City Film Festival.
Mhm.
We entered it in. I think it was an honorable mention. And
Yeah.
said, what did they call it? It was just a short script.
Yeah.
festival. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we wrote it for that. So yeah, it was a one shot idea.
Okay, that's cool.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
When it says women, there's a couple ways to write it, but since there was two different women, because I shouldn't have gotten confused, but I got confused and didn't know that was supposed to be me and Rohit. Usually either write woman 1 and woman 2, or you put woman 1 here, woman 2 here on the same line.
Okay.
And have the same words are slightly different.
Okay. Yeah. Good
It's a
call.
minor thing, but
No,
usually that's what.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I should have gotten confused, but somehow I did, and that's why it's labeled. People like me won't pick up on it. Rohit picked up on it. I didn't.
Yeah, that make it more distinct. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was an accident or what, but the script is missing all of its articles. There's no thes or a's, and it was really hard for me to read.
Okay,
Oh.
okay, interesting.
Oh, okay.
I mean, just as the narrator, nothing made sense. I had to input my own articles everywhere.
Articles in. Okay, very good.
Good
Yeah.
point out. Good note. Something to go back to and take a look.
That's true though. Yeah, I see what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jordan,
that make it read a little bit easier.
you still there? You want to say
Yeah.
something? You gotta go.
Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't thinking of it to go that way, and it was really funny. And I wonder why they hide it from Lindsay. Like they're just embarrassed, and like, is she gonna tell them that she saw? Like, I wonder, would she just pretend like nothing ever happened? Also, why did it cost $600?
They're paying for the service, not the cake.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you guys been to a maid cafe? I'm assuming that's what it is. Is it a maid cafe?
Well,
It's
my
kind of a weird.
a few years ago, several years ago, actually now, my wife worked at a bakery for probably about a year or so, decorating cakes and that sort of stuff. And the bakery was actually struggling. It's still going at this time, but it was struggling a lot at the time. And so that gave a little tiny bit of inspiration for the whole thing. So
I see.
she come home with the stories about, yeah, we had a really rough day. And things
Yeah,
like that.
the woman was kind of mean by the time of it.
Yeah, they didn't love her well.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then for the for the other part, the inspiration there is kind of weird actually. I think I was like sick this day. I was either sick or like sad about something. And it was like I was in one of those moods like I didn't really feel like turning the channel on the TV. I was just kind of sitting there watching whatever was on. And I don't know if it was like I forget what channel it was actually on, but it had all those like dating shows. And then like this commercial kept coming on about cake splashing. And it kept like showing people like sitting on cakes. And I'm like, what is this? Like, is this a thing? Like, why would somebody like watch somebody sit on a cake? Like this is, and like we looked it up and it's actually a thing. We're like, we got to use this. Like, this is too weird to not use. Like, what is it?
Two things kind of came together in a weird way.
Yeah, to be honest, even I had no idea if until Ron mentioned it and gave it a name. I had no idea this possibly can happen or it does happen. So
Yeah. Yeah, strange stuff.
well, cool, man, cool.
It kind of reminds me of another script we read that had to do something with the bakery, but I don't think it flowed too well. I think it was just, I don't know, too many characters or whatever. I don't know if you guys remember it, but yeah, it was pretty similar. It was like a bakery that came up with all weird, different type of names.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember?
I remember that one.
Yeah, it wasn't like the flow wasn't that great, but this one was cool. Even though it was shorter, it was still like it was there. You hit the nail, So
that was the one with the bakery with special, specialty bakery products.
Yeah, they kind of said the same thing, like they worked in a bakery or something.
Yeah.
As a Naruto fan, I thought it was funny watching everyone try and say Sasuke.
Oh, that's what it is.
How do you say it, Donald?
Sasuke.
Sasuke. Okay.
Yeah.
Sasuke. Okay.
I didn't know that, so that was Valerie's input on that one.
I got the inspiration for that came from college, where because I'm an anime fan myself, and like my friends and I would like at college sit and watch anime, but they took it to a different level than I did. Like I just like watching the show. They were in it for they like the show too, but they also like this kind of weird like off kilter stuff. And so,
they get dressed up and stuff.
Yeah. Like they were like into the characters and everything, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of a different level than I did. Yeah. So that's kind of where my idea for that came from. And I thought it'd be really funny if it's like two old ladies instead of like younger people. If it was like two old ladies speaking at the rest home, and they're like so it's kind of like them but grown up. They're like still obsessed with anime, even though they're like 80. Yeah.
I do feel like maybe the employee, maybe give her a better reason to go back. I know that the owners were strict and she was scared about, taking the apron. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't drive back to my workplace, you know what I mean, to put an apron back. I feel like it's a bit much.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
point. Yeah. Yeah. It's really good.
Good
And
point.
I think I'm not sure if we discussed this with Joel when he was online, but usually, I mean, all the scripts we've read, we've kind of come across where, if you typically name a character, let's say a woman one or a woman two, or a character one, character two. I mean, I think it's a little bit more relatable if we give some kind of a name to it.
Yeah.
uh, Even if it's something short and sweet, small lines, something like this. I mean, if it has a name, you can kind of, I know writers typically when they write and they name the characters, I mean, they, either it's ironic to the character or it means something. Usually, I think writers do that. So I think it would play a little bit better if we do name the characters, all of them.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
Have like
Yeah.
Gladys and Adeline or something.
Yeah. Something. Right.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ron, so how do you feel about that? If it's like a customer or somebody, walking into any kind of business, would you still name that customer?
It depends. I don't usually. Some scripts I read, they will, but most times, depend if they're incidental characters. Usually don't, only because you leave it where they can pick a man or a woman maybe, and also if you have too many names, it can get confusing for the rest of the staff or different people involved. I know why Rohit feels that way, and I like, as if you're acting, you want a name because then you already have a whole bunch of ideas you can work with, so it makes sense to do that. If I were directing, I'd have a sidebar conversation with whoever I picked and discuss it with them. But when you write it from a writer point of view, normally I wouldn't, because it can get confusing. Because you look at it and you're like, who's the main character? Who's whatever. So usually cop one, cop two is like works well. You give a name if the character has a certain amount of lines and maybe a certain amount of personality, and very specific. But I don't know. The thing about script writing is grammatical rules. So even they have their own unique rules. But grammar is one thing, but a lot of rules are changed. Everyone does different things, and so you just have to look at different styles of writing. Everyone's got all kinds of styles. So you develop your own. So, there's no right way with that, but that's just what I've observed.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that POV. Yeah. Any other little things we can take a look back? I know the script is kind of old, so is there? You guys
It's good that
would
they
you
had
change
more,
the ending thing? Go ahead.
more
Ron.
dialogue. It's
More
good they have more
dialogue.
dialogue and a little smaller descriptions.
Okay.
It flows better. It'd be good to even see sometimes no description at all between the different characters talking. This
Yeah,
way
I
they can
agree.
just keep flowing
Valid.
with each other. Have a little while to really catch their flow and their canter and develop a rapport, because it's harder to do that every time it has to stop. And even if the narrator doesn't read that, I don't know. I feel like it's better sometimes just to have some dialogue going on.
Yeah, I felt like I was interrupting, honestly.
Very good.
You can put in parentheses. Well, you already did it. You already know about it. Yeah. In parentheses, describe little things. But, I find creative ways to put in descriptions and where it goes.
So it's not disrupting that flow of the dialogue so much. That makes sense. Yeah.
What happened to you guys' camera?
Yeah, I've been like, that's been bugging me. Like,
Got our
I'm like,
camera
I
done?
kind of want to like see if I can
we're
turn
frozen
it
up.
off and turn it back on. Like I keep looking, like we've been like in the same
Wow.
position
We are,
for like,
I got my one eye covered looking.
yeah. I need to see.
Yeah, it's a black screen. Okay. Well, we can hear you though for sure.
Yeah,
This camera's been kind of
cameras.
questionable.
Yeah,
It's
this
been
camera's
working up
kind of bad.
pretty well. When we did Zoom in here at the school, it would do that. Something would shut off and just, they could hear my voice, but we lose the video portion. I don't know why. It's been doing
Oh,
pretty
okay. It never happened before. Usually guys good, but okay. Today's the day.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys? Any, should I go back to this and try to strengthen it, or kind of leave it behind, or what?
I think there's a pretty big demographic for this kind of story, and it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Write a few drafts and try and expand the length. I mean, it doesn't have to be longer, but if you're gonna make it 16 minutes, tighten it up, and fill in certain things that you think have gaps, and just write a few drafts. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
very good.
Yeah.
If you haven't tried that already, it's good practice to do
Right.
drafts.
Back and rewrite, yeah.
Cool. Choma's gone. Jordan's friend is behind her, waiting, like, no, no camera on. No, I'm just playing. Oh man. Okay. Well,
Jordan,
that is
I
turn off the
like your
recording.
Sir Elton John glasses.